Yay. So
All right.
week 5 is done. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. It's just the green box isn't around me, so I got a little tripped up. So this is a really special week because we have Jeanette again from week, was it 2?
Week 2.
Yeah. Week 2. So week 5 as well. And we also had a health retreat that happened on the weekend where we got to all meet up in person. So it's quite a special scenario. And so this is coming at, this is being recorded a bit late, and that's okay.
Bonus.
Yeah, bonus. Threw a bonus day in there just so that we make sure to have like some intentionality around everything. So, Jeanette.
Yes.
How was it this week for you? I'm going to switch it over to you because, I mean, you've been here before, and I want to know what it was like having to create another week for Christine.
Well, to be honest, I actually, the week when you had me do the week 2, I was putting stuff together, but it was too long. So I just picked and choose what I wanted. And then I saved Christine 1.0 and Christine 2.0. So I was like, if in case the first one wasn't working like you wanted, or you wanted more on what I did for the first week, I will have another 2%. And when you said, hey, our coach couldn't make it, but can you? I'm like, ooh, I have another one ready. So it's like a continuation actually of the first one that I gave Christine. So it actually worked well.
That's awesome. And that actually explains, Christine, where you had like that same article.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a more in-depth look at, you know, that first week. So that's amazing. And I really appreciate you doing that because, you know, I wanted to make sure that Christine was taken care of, and I knew that she was safe in your capable hands. Or maybe she wasn't. We don't know. We'll get to that.
We'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. Find out there. Yeah, exactly. So I will jump into the recap, and then we will hear from Christine, and maybe we'll find out what transpired over the weekend as well. You guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you like this photo? I'm getting kind of like excited about like picking photos now. I don't know.
I'm like, oh my god. Look at that.
Yeah. And if you haven't caught on already, we have like special colors dedicated to whether it's body week, nutrition week, mind week, or community. So this type of red is body.
Oh, nice.
So our focus for this week, and Jeanette, I'm gonna need you to maybe correct me a little. I'll just be 100% honest that this might not fully encompass it. Like, you let me know. But the focus was recovery, posture, and mobility, and then creating intention towards purpose and what Christine wants still. Yes. And then monitoring and assuring that those metrics are moving in the direction in line with Christine's goals. Yeah?
Yeah.
Is there anything else I missed out there?
No, that's perfectly fine, because what we really wanted for her was like to step back, which is on your recovery. So that is recovery. So that's good.
Yeah. Awesome. So we had some educational material that was given, and a blog post, and some podcast, and spending more time doing the breathing and checking in with self and being mindful, asking questions and redefining what things look like so that they work for Christine. I think that that's like one of the coolest things, because you have so much skill. Like, the badass in you is there, right? Now it's just a matter of like honing where you get to put your attention, because if you give your attention to everything, then you don't move forward in the direction that you maybe want to. So you get to discover what are the things you want to put your attention into, right? Like, are you going to put your attention on mosquito bites on your legs, or are you going to focus on what the task at hand is, right? I don't know why.
My calf that's bugging me.
I counted, and from my knee to my foot on my left side, I count
Oh.
36. 36.
Ew, no.
That's on one leg, from knee to foot.
Wow. I had 10.
Oh man.
I think I got 10 spread out.
But spread out too.
Yeah. The bug spray actually worked.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is, I'm totally, I didn't wear bug spray the first day, and that's where mostly I it was downpour. So anyway.
They're everywhere then.
I digress. I brought up the mosquitoes. They were on my mind. So how we did it, we are still doing our daily reflections through the video and entry into the self-discovery journal. And the reviews and the adjustments and the discussions and the coaching, all of this stuff is what you've seen the last time. So number 3, this is also the same as last time. It's sort of just about the, just taking a look at the biometrics and also the social activities and community, how that's so important, and as well linking to existing routines. So we had an increase in sleep.
Yeah. Nice.
Ooh.
Oh wait, this is an increase from last week though, right?
It net zeros, yeah.
Okay.
But one thing I just want to note, just on the topic of recovery, is that like, getting a minimum 7 hours of sleep would be like pretty ideal. I would say. I mean, everybody's different. There are some people that are okay with getting less than 7. However, as a general rule, at least for me personally, 7 hours is
7 is perfect. I go at 8, I'm like, oh, I'm still dead. So 7, 6, right? Like my body's just like, after 7 hours, I'm up.
Really?
Yeah.
If I wasn't forcing myself to go back to sleep, and I've tracked this before, I am like wide awake after 5 hours. Like 5 and 6 hours, I'm wide awake. But I'm like, nah, I'm just going back to bed.
Yeah. With sleep, I find that the most impactful thing you can do is to just go to bed at the same time every night with a winds down routine, and allow yourself to wake up when your body allows you to. That's like the most powerful way to approach it, because truly this arbitrary like 8 hours, it might not be true in some people. So with what I just said previously, that's more of an intuitive way of sleeping. Intuitive sleeping. Is that the new fad? I'm just kidding.
My intuition is exhausted.
Yeah. I said intuitive meal prepping to Romy, and he's like, oh my God, is that a thing? I'm like, yeah, maybe I just came up with the like 2021 like
yeah,
new,
it just got invented.
like,
it's a thing now.
meta fitness fad of the year. Anyway, step results. We had wait, that should be a minus, not a plus, but anyway. There was a decrease of 568 steps per day. And we can notice that on the 22nd, you had a big bump up. And at the beginning of the week, you had, it's quite low. So, all that would have made the difference really is to take a look at what happened at the beginning of your week and see how you might just get a little bit more steps in. And again, it's not perfection. It's more to like, this is more of an insight into your week to see what types of things might have happened that would have made it lower, and what types of things you did, what types of things would have increased it. Sorry?
No shopping.
There was no shopping. No, there was no, and there was no lunchtime walks this week because depending on what I eat for lunch, sometimes I just have to eat it in the office instead of take it outside. The 22nd was Saturday. That was the first day of the retreat, so we were going. And
you taught a class.
I've been teaching more, so when I teach more, I'm actually less active. Crazy enough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when you're teaching more, you're less active. And do you find that like is it the same quality of workout for yourself? Like, I don't mean for everyone else. Right. So it's less quality, less active.
Yeah.
And so these are just some things to note, right? And we don't want to make it wrong or feel guilty or anything like that. But like, now what are we going to do about it? Like, how would we approach this if we are a badass, right?
Yeah.
Like, how could we make it so it fits with Christine's life, right? Yeah. And that is the question to ponder. Now, I have a question mark. So I don't know. I know. But because I don't know if you completed the workouts that Jeanette said.
Oh, no. Didn't do the workout.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So then there will be, it's a question mark percent,
like
but it's less than,
complete.
Yes, that's right. And so, you know, like I said in my message when it was there, you know, you voiced that you're not a fan of working out by yourself, right? You're not a fan of doing that. So I made mention of like how you could possibly approach it, where you would be able to do it even when you're at home, right? Would it be calling a friend to do it alongside you, or something like this? Now, is there anything that you've kind of come up with that would have had you complete it, or would there be something that you would want to do instead? Like, what type of feedback would you give to both of us?
I think like if the intention was to get a strength workout in, then it would just be like, okay, well, let me find a class I can do that is strength based. That would be just as equivalent, and we'll call it even. Because I'm pretty sure it would still attack all those muscles, if not more. And it allows me to be in that sort of community environment that motivates me and inspires me to go. And like, and it's so hard to focus and do it at home, just like after, first off, it's not the most ideal environment. And then my living, like, if you've been to my place, it's a mess. My living room's a mess. So to be able to like then have to, you know, make space, and yeah, there's just no motivation there to do it at home. So
I have a question then. What had you not reach out and alter it?
Alter it? Oh, like find an alternative and just be like, hey guys, I'm just not gonna do it. Yeah, I don't know. It got away from me, from everything that was on the to-do list and stuff to do, and I was just like I wasn't gonna feel bad for not doing it, because I had already done a lift class that week, and yeah, it was just, I wasn't gonna do it. Like, I had no motivation to do it at all, and like as much as I'd like to think I would have, it didn't happen. Yeah.
So now answer my question. So what had you not reach out and alter it, or you know, create an alternative, or say that you weren't going to do it? Like, what I'm not looking for is like a tick mark. Because if you were to tell me like, yo Cam, I'm not doing it, that's cool, but you also didn't tell me you weren't going to do it.
Well, and I just with the focus being 1 week, I'm like, all right, I ran out of time to do it for this week.
Sure.
Like, moving on to the next week. And like, if anything, like I knew I was still gonna have, in my mind, I'm actually at a point where I feel like I need a little reset, because, and we discussed this last week in the recap, where in any challenge I've done in the past, or any sort of journey, there's that plateau mark where it's like challenge fatigue or something, where I'm doubting, are things sticking? Am I really maintaining my habits that I've wanted to do? Like, you know, I was so consistent those first couple weeks, and now it's like, well, shit, like things are happening where I'm not able to do my groceries on that Sunday, or I had a family dinner last night. So, you know, like quality of food wasn't as great. And so then it's kind of like, well, shit, like time to pick myself back up again, reset, and get back on the train. And so I've had those little lapses already, and I'm noticing them. And yeah, so, and it bugs me even more because I know it's mind this week. And now I feel like I'm mind effing myself because I'm like really in my head right now. And it's, and I know there's not many weeks left. And I feel like I've given myself a lot of expectations, and I feel like there's certain expectations at the end of this transformation journey. And I just feel like, I think I'm going to be having moments soon where you're going to see me feel very overwhelmed. And I think I'm getting very close to that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you, so you have like the challenge fatigue or journey fatigue, and the experience of overwhelm, and the almost, it sounds like an uncontrollable nature within your environment, because you also said about like having yourself like teaching more classes, not getting as much quality of exercise in from your classes that takes care of you, not having as much time for yourself in that regard, and as well not doing as much activity in the day when you're teaching more classes, and feeling like you're mind effing yourself and being in your head. Yeah, it sounds like it's kind of like almost lonely in a sense.
Oh, that's so sad.
Well, I mean, is it?
Well, and crazy enough, like why should, like it's like when you think of this and how it's built, it's like, why should you be lonely? You have all these professionals at your fingertips ready for you.
Yeah.
And I think this will be explored, I guess, more this week, where yeah, you're right, like it with just how I operate, sometimes it can get very lonely because I'm more about giving and giving, yet not being the badass I should be and taking ownership and control. And sometimes like you said, we had this conversation before, it's being able to pivot. Like even with those goals that I have in mind, it's okay, well, you know, routine is changing, and it's changed in the last 2 weeks right now. And now what am I going to do to pick myself back up? That's right. And fix it.
And also, what do you make it mean if you are not where you should be, right? You use the word should.
I should.
That's right.
Myself.
Right.
I already got called out for that again too.
Haha.
It's like, how do you feel about the retreat? Well, I feel like I should have made more connections. You should have. I'm like, I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just taking the word should out of my vocabulary and wording it in a way that it kind of sounds like that, but not really using the word should.
Oh my gosh. So I want you to explore that, and let's get into what I mean, I'm sure Jeanette, you have things to say on this, totally. And what I want to leave you with, Christine, is explore that like sense of loneliness, because the word lonely can kind of sound kind of sad or over exaggerating possibly, but what I want to say is that purely the perception of loneliness is enough to instill loneliness, right? Even if you have people around you, if you experience, like if you feel lonely, you are lonely, right? So then the question becomes like, who are you going to be and how are you going to act such that your loneliness is not there, right?
Yeah.
The first thing though to acknowledge is that it's there. and meet yourself where you're at. But if you should on yourself, then you're trying to be something that you should be without honoring where you are, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing to look at, and you'll look at that this week. Now, how does this relate to body? Oh gosh darn it, it does. Oh it does. Oh, it does. So Jeanette, I'll give the floor to you.
All right. So with the body and what Christine has actually mentioned, that's where I had like some fun facts about the body and some quizzes for the first time, so that she could be like, so that Christine could explore and like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. And like we have already discussed from like the first week, is that she does always give, but it's just that she doesn't know how to give to herself. It's always giving out. And that's the reason why I also wanted to focus on the body and feel what's happening inside as you move with intention. Because that intention, when you really listen to the intentions with what your body's saying, you'll probably be able to dig deeper why you're coming to these thoughts. And that's the reason why with that body as well, like your body's trying to talk to you, and because you just it's trying to say something. That's the reason why you're feeling like, why do you think I can do a workout on my own when that workout is for me? Like, why do I need this community to motivate me to work out? And as I remembered when I said, oh, nobody showed up in my class. You would have done that in your class because you have 30 minutes inside the gym by yourself and do all that equipment, but you decided to go home.
Well, actually,
I'm just saying, but
yeah, no, but I didn't go home. I actually ended up having to meet the family for dinner.
Oh, okay. Then
that's
like, fine.
They were waiting for me, and I'm like, the fact that my class didn't happen, I was like, perfect. Okay. I can actually meet them earlier than I should have. So I was like, that's fine.
yeah, then that's fine. I just thought that we do love that we have the community to motivate us, but I also want you to learn that we cannot be dependent on the environment we are at. Like, even if our life depends on it, at the end of the day, we have ourselves to depend on to do it for us. That's the only goal I wanted, because I know, like, you're a go-getter, you're there, boom, you're done. And because this one, if it didn't happen, I like what Cameron said, you would have, hey guys, I don't, and I actually, when I said that in my head, I'm like, oh darn, I know she's not gonna do it, because she said she's not gonna do it on her own. Like, God, why did I send that already? I'm like, and so I said, let's see what she does. So I kind of like put that in there just to see what's gonna happen, because for me, I said, like, guys, I can't really do it. Like, I know if you would have done that, and he was like, and then we would come back to him and like, why can't you not do it? What's stopping you? Like, it's just a workout on your own. Like, to be honest, if you did that, that would have been like a 15-minute workout, not even that long, right?
Can you see why it was important to find that loneliness bit? Why I just took a total guess, because when you work out alone, would that possibly be present? Like, is that a possible detractor from you doing it alone? Like, what do you get from doing it with other people, right? But like Jeanette says, it's like, do we need other people? So it's different if you are kind of like the architect of that situation. Like, you're already in the gym, and you want to do a workout, and you do it for 5 minutes by yourself, and then you go and see your family. Like, you kind of find that happy middle, that slight pivot, right?
Yeah.
But if the prerequisite is that you need a community around you in order to act, the probability of you actually acting becomes significantly lower. I'll give you the example of Susanna. Before her health journey, If it was too cold, she wouldn't go walking. If it was too hot, she wouldn't go walking. If it was raining, she wouldn't go walking. If it was snowing, she wouldn't go walking. If she was tired, she wouldn't go walking. If she was hungry, she wouldn't go walking. If she was like too full, she wouldn't go walking. If she was like having a deadline that was really close to being done, she wouldn't go walk. You know, if you have more reasons to not act than reasons to act, you will never, this is not you, but you will never, in that circumstance, you will never improve, because basically it's predictable. Like, it's predictable that it will not happen. So I think what Jeanette said is awesome, because you putting it down anyway, because I saw it and I'm like, I actually wrote a disclaimer in her, like in the post to her, saying like, you know, find a way to make this work for you. And now we're talking about it. We're talking about the fact that like the perception of no one there stops Christine from acting. So now I get to pose the question, where else in your life do you have that experience too, where no one else is there and it stops you from acting? Can't think of anything?
Not off the top of my head.
Cool. Just ponder. Maybe there's nothing. So, but it's a barrier, right? Just like the example I gave with Susanna. It's a barrier that stops you. Nothing wrong with it. But how do we pivot that thing where it can actually be empowering, right? Or else it will be just another thing that stops you when like say the pandemic comes and you're alone. Now it's probable that you're not going to work out. Well, just because your environment says so, what about what you say though? Right? Are we going to really let our environment dictate our actions? No bueno, right? Instead, what are you going to do, right? Like, what do you want? And so that's something that I wanted to say, to like present yourself to is like what you want, because a lot of times people do things for for reasons they don't think they're doing them for. So when you are in a class and you're exercising, are you really doing it to do anything physically fit, to be physically fit?
Yeah, that's why I go there.
Okay. Why else could you go there?
Well, it's a class, so I can't go there on my own time. But well, I could now because it's a different gym, but when I'm actually doing the lift classes, like I'm going there to get her done. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing the point of this question.
It's okay. I'm gonna not ask the question anymore, because I think that it's a good one to just to leave alone.
Okay.
I don't want to poke too much. Jeanette, do you know what I'm? Do you know where I'm going with this? Do you know where I'm going with this? Yeah, you do. Okay. Cool. So anyways, so Christine, what was something that you enjoyed this week that that worked well for you?
I like reading the articles for sure, especially because a lot of them really focused on like technique, posture, just things that are really important to be effective when doing the workouts. Like the breathing, like, well, I've been able to use my Fitbit to help with the guiding because it's essentially the same sort of count that the breathing articles was talking about. So like every time I feel like an ounce of anxiety, like I click that thing on and I go for at least 2 minutes because I feel like I need it quite a bit lately. But yeah, I think the thing that really stuck out for me the most, especially with the focus on body week, is really having to look at my schedule again and get that same amount of drive that I had before I started teaching and incorporating it to my new schedule, because it's slightly frustrating that I know I'm not getting the same effectiveness in my workouts this week now that my schedule's changed a bit. But
right.
Yeah.
So you like the articles. What you don't like is your schedule, that how it's changed and you can't have as effective workouts.
Yeah.
Now, as a badass, what are you going to do about it?
I have to look at my schedule and fix it.
Cool. What does that look like?
Well, I'm very excited to go back to the gym tomorrow to get my ass kicked. So
Nice.
Yeah. No, it's just it's booking it where I can, right? And then reassessing my new rest days, but at least trying to be active. Like, I like to still get a good sweat at least like 3 to 5 days a week. And I think I maybe got 2 or 3 really good days this last week. Yeah.
Awesome. So Jeanette, what do you see?
I actually, when you guys were talking, I was listening to it and what you say. It actually comes back to me when we did the issue on talking with like this different profiles. I remember Lonely Michelle or Mitchell or something, because
Miserable Mitchell.
Yeah, I was like the schedule everywhere, and then she said, I need to relook my schedule and put everything and figure out what to do again. I'm like,
yeah, it's the whole calendar thing. Put it down.
The calendar. And I'm glad. I'm totally glad. And it's really a big thing as well to accept, like, oh my God, I'm like overwhelmed right now. I'm on my 5th week, and it's just, everything's just right there. Because being for someone to totally recognize that, that's a big step. Because people usually will deny it and like, no, I got this. I still have a few days. I'll finish it. Like, this is what happened. I can make reasons not to do it, but totally, Chris, with the way Christine said it, it's just like, it's just come to a point where it's just there, and she just said that I just can't do it. And that's a good thing, because then now we'll have to know, like, why can't you not do it? Because that's exactly what we wanted, like, to find out why can't you do it. Like, I know it's hard, but then there has to be a way that it shouldn't be hard for you. Because as someone who teaches, as someone who goes around and very active with people, but you can't be active for yourself, that's, for me, it's like 2 different pictures, like night and day. Because if you can be active with yourself, with around people, you can still be active on your own for yourself.
Right.
And I feel like there have been moments where I can totally do that, and but it's also, I think it also stems down to, like, I was thinking about, like, what's my why? Like, I was actually thinking about that again. I'm like, what is my why? Like, and it kind of goes back to, like, when you had your physique competition. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? Right? Like, yes, I have these expectations to do these tasks, but at the same time, especially for body, it's like, well, I'm already doing a bunch of stuff for body. Wasn't my goal to rest? And then I think, well, okay, I didn't do anything on the weekend. I'm teaching more, so I'm not really working out. So I'm getting a lot of rest. But how much rest is now too much rest? Where I'm like undoing all the real good I've done in those first couple of weeks. And so I was just like, my head.
So something that's really good here. So you can't pivot without knowing that you're in it.
Oh, I'm so in it.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
my
so
God.
in it, right? But you notice that like sometimes we, like Jeanette says, like we go months without knowing that we're even in it. And so you're in an opportune time, because how this differs is that you get to say how things go. So and like I have full faith that you know exactly what that will look like, even if you don't know it 100% now. Doesn't matter, because you will. And when you and exactly what you just pointed to, like there's a reason why you were exploring your why. Like you're realizing that there might be something missing, right, around your why. True, because only you get to say what that is. I can try to extract it as much as I want. Jeanette can as well. But ultimately, it will mean nothing until it means something to you. And so if you're trying to be everything for everyone, leaving yourself behind, where you don't have the ability to be there for yourself, you can't really be there for others either. So my challenge to you is to look at what you really want, because we've explored what it could look like, but now this is time to really care for you, because without you, there are so many people that depend on you, right? That you deserve that deep why, like, and I mean it, like the really deep why, because without you, you can't impact anyone.
Oh right? Yeah, no, I like just now that this week is leading into mind, like driving home yesterday, knowing that this is the end of body, and I'm just like, holy crap, like I need a deeper why, because it's not gonna get me out of bed in the morning to want to do something. My why is not strong as I thought it was. And like, and it's not to say I can't work out by myself. Like I've proven time and again I can. I just like to have like an ideal environment, and that's not always going to be the case, especially if there's another shutdown. But it's like, how about I cross that bridge when it gets there? Like if it shuts down, then eventually I'm going to have to get off my ass and do something about it. Like I have the equipment to do it at home if I need to. But I am more comfortable when it's in a particular environment.
Sure. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Any weather in that environment. Any weather.
Awesome.
Yes.
So the you know, maybe Jeanette and I are barking up the wrong tree in that regard, and that totally could be true. I'm going to continue barking though. So
oh, good trainer does.
Yes. And with this, the barrier of, so I have full confidence, by the way, that if we were to put you to the task of doing a workout by yourself, that you would do it. Now, notice that I didn't just ask you to do it by yourself. I actually took what Jeanette had said, and I actually morphed it a little to say, like, how could you like do it so that it would also honor what you want, right? It was adding that extra layer of compassion. So yes, it's not favorable, right? But it's also to have you take a look at why is it that you might not want to do it by yourself. The reasons of inconvenient, people around, all these different things, they all could be true. But for you to be able to pivot in any circumstance, you being able to take care of you on any by yourself, but in an empowering way. How the heck can we have you discover that without going there, right? So that's where that comes from. And you also what you didn't say is, you didn't say, I'm not going to do it, because I would equally accept that. I would equally be like, awesome. Okay, I love that.
It. Because he already said on the first week that I'm not even watching it, and that's gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. And I'm like, oops. And I'm like, I wonder what Cameron said to me. But I'm like, I'll see what Christine would say too. And like, no one came back. I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted to see as well how you would react into this situation, because I know she already admitted that on the second week, like, I really can't. Like, I tried to, but oh my God, I'll just stop and I'll just watch. Like,
I did half of that stuff. I tried.
Okay.
Forgot what happened that day, but I did most of it, half of it. Well, no, I had ass kicked already earlier that day in the gym, so to have to do like more cardio, I'm like,
yeah, no, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But the point is, dudes, I already did my workout. I think you should change this because it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I still wanted to watch it though, just to see like what kind of torture you had in mind for me.
Like, I think that the big thing.
Good one.
The big thing around it is like, what I love to see is I love to see when you advocate for yourself. So like, let's call it like the Jeanette's torture chamber, you know, like we throw down something that's like, you know, something evil, right? And you like look at it and you're like, you know, I'm not going to do this. Like, okay, that's awesome. But if you just like went and did it and pretended you liked it, or you pretended you hated it or something like that, just to get it done, like, it's kind of lame. So I love when you advocate for yourself is what I'm trying to say. And that's what
the whole point of like establishing habits too is, like you said, it's on your own terms. And I think that's where a lot of trainers sometimes they have clients forever because they can't seem to find something that clicks with their clients that gets them to find
on their own.
Yeah, or to get it done. And so like, if the whole purpose at the end of the day for body week is, especially in the future for other clients, is can we just get you moving, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, I can move. I can totally move. But because at the level I'm at, I completely understand the expectations are way higher. And you guys won't let me fall too far back.
It's interesting because like the expectations aren't for you to do more. I would say the expectation that I put at like at high regard is for you to come to like Jeanette and be like, this didn't work for me, or like, can you do something about this? I need your help, or something like that, where it's not that Jeanette is happening to you. It's like you and Jeanette are doing it together almost.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe where I'm approaching this whole transformation thing the wrong way, where when I see it as like, do this today, then I'm like, all right, let's check off the box today. And then share it with the group. I'm like, all right, here's what like I learned from the article. Here's what I learned from here. This is what I learned from this person today. And so if that's all that's asked of me, then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get it done, with the exception to that workout. But other than that, like, and like you saw with the whole nutrition thing, it was like, I think you do want me to ask more questions and be more like using these professionals. But until you actually had asked me, hey, ask 5 questions, then I'm like, give me a moment. I gotta think about one. And like, these were well thought out questions. Like, these were like genuine questions that I wanted answered. But unless I approached it as that was a task, then I just don't bother. And I think a lot of my questions, especially with my second time with Romy, like I asked all my questions from the very beginning so that I could just set myself up for the week and not have to really bother him unless something was just not working. Or I just was super confused. But then again, like, I didn't ask him for the rest of the week. So yeah.
So that what you're pointing at, or we're pointing at, whatever you want to say, is exactly it. So this is the holding to a high regard. thing. This is the high level, like, thing that if we explore, it will lead to something magical kind of thing. Because what would it be like, instead of it being, you know, you versus the world, but instead like you as a contribution to us? Or said another way, like you and I and Jeanette hand in hand, as opposed to Jeanette and I standing on like the top of the bleachers pointing at you, you know? Until we say words, you don't act, right? External things happen to Christine, Christine acts. Internally though, what would it be like if you could, on a whim, generate those questions to create the result you want? So this all relates to the why. This all relates to the why. And it's always, so how do I say this? It's like commitment. Like if you're committed to something, you will ask the questions. Like if your flight was about to leave and you needed to know things, you're going to ask the questions to get onto the flight. You're not going to like think about it. You're just going to do that, right? So the question becomes like, what gets in the way of you acting towards you? Like what stops you from like treating yourself like a shining palace, you know, where it's really important that you expand your knowledge and you're curious about it. Like you're approaching it like a ninja Sherlock Holmes, you know? You're going to figure it out and you're going to ask the questions.
Magnifying glass into it. Like why?
Why? Right? And you don't need to do it alone. That's the thing that I'm kind of really trying to emphasize here, is that, you know, we say words to you, then you figure it out. No. That's not what we're doing. That might be what you're doing, but that's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
And by we, I don't mean me and Jeanette. I mean you, me, and Jeanette together, right? We as in us, all of us, right? So what I'm going to say this one thing, and I want you to kind of ponder it. But why do you want to do it alone? Just consider you're doing this alone.
Yeah, it seems alone, but I know, like in the back of my mind, I'm not alone.
That's logic. That doesn't matter. The feeling though is that it's alone, isn't it?
Yeah, because I feel like there's been moments where I have to figure it out. And those are the times where, yeah, it's totally alone, because you guys can't give me those answers. Those are things I need to figure out because it's all based on how I'm living my life, how I'm doing my habits, and like figuring out like what are the bottlenecks and barriers that are keeping me from figuring things out, right? Like like figuring out when I'm full, figuring out like what are good things to eat, like figuring out when to breathe.
So figuring out is an interesting thing, because it, especially for an accountant, you know, figuring it out probably means something different than what it could mean to someone else, perhaps. So figuring out to you means that you retract and you figure it out alone, is what I'm kind of hearing.
Oh, that's the life of an accountant.
Yeah. So, but consider that, like, as a badass, figuring it out doesn't need to be alone.
But how empowering would it be as a badass to figure it out?
Sure. But like, why does it matter whether it's alone or with people or not? It shouldn't matter, should it?
No, it shouldn't. But I feel like I'm so close to figuring it out. Then...
So as soon as you give up figuring it out, you'll probably figure it out.
No, I think when I give up figuring it out is when I ask, because then I'm just like, shoot, the hell.
Well,
But I
as
feel
they
like
always say,
it's always like a little too late when that happens.
Maybe. As they say, if you want new results, new actions. So all you can do is to, like I said, explore it like a sleuth, be curious, and figure out. Figuring it out is kind of like one of those things that's kind of dangerous, because you have all the answers already, honestly. And what Jeanette's saying is to listen to your body. This whole notion of intuition and intuitive eating, it's all listening to your body. It's not figuring it out. Figuring it out might be the interpretation you might have. And from the lens of an accountant, it means sitting alone in a room and pondering and trying to figure it out in a notebook. But that actually might not be what we're asking. What I'm getting more and more from listening to you is that when if I were to say, or Jeanette were to say, to figure out something, that it interprets something totally different than what we mean, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know either. And we're not going to figure it out.
All right.
So, give me a second. Yeah, this whole figuring out thing, just ponder it. Don't figure it out.
Okay.
And that might sound like, how do I do that? Doesn't matter.
It's from like that whole mind thing. It's like, well, stop it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And when you tell someone to stop it, it doesn't stop.
That's right. It doesn't stop.
All right then.
Yep, it doesn't really go anywhere. So anyway, we're gonna move on.
All right.
So now, Jeanette, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I actually just wanted to say that Christine actually really did a great job on the whole week. I know that she has been doing what she's wanted to, but there's still something missing when it comes to listening to her body. There's just one thing that I think if she'd figure out what's the deep why, like she's asking, like, I can clearly read your mind, but I'm not going to do that because I want her to look at it from her point of view, not from yours or mine. Because from afar, we're like people looking up through the forest and she's in the forest, if that makes sense. For her to look from out of it would probably give her a better idea why, because when it comes, if the thought comes from her, it'll be more meaningful and she will more react to it than not do anything about it. It's like it's an analogy where when working the money and we're just given the money, we don't care where we spend it. But when we make the money and we value it, we will know how to spend it. So for her, when she realizes that, oh, this is what really my body needs, I think that it'd be more valuable for her and it will easily kick in her mind to do it rather than as an obligation or as a things to figure out. So I think, yeah, Christine did a good job this week. There's just one thing that's missing, and that's the only thing I think that will change everything around for her.
I agree. And it's super tough because like I don't know about you, Jeanette, but like I have the experience where it's like sometimes hard to like let it go, where you want I want to keep talking about it, but I don't think that it's helpful. And I think that like it's one of those things, it's like an aha moment that will yeah. And this, anyways, I've just stopped talking about it now.
I know what you're trying to say. I know Christine will get there, especially when she's now coming to the mind. Probably when she pieces everything together, that puzzle comes together for her, and she'll see it as a whole. She'll find that single answer that's right there, right in front of her.
And by the way, I'm gonna be responsible for something, because I'm noticing something more and more as Christine talks, and I could totally be off base here, but there's nowhere to get to, actually, Christine. Okay, there's nowhere to get to. You know, Jeanette just said, like, when Christine gets there, it kind of like makes it sound like, you know, you have a distance to go, or like the adversity to go, but that's not what she means. And I'm pointing it out because of the whole conversation before about figuring it out. Like, consider you have it all now, right? And again, like, it sounds like if this is gonna sound so weird if it's I don't need to disclaimer, like you're enough.
She does have it all. It's
yeah,
it's there.
Like, and it sounds like, but what do you mean, guys?
I feel so much more lost than I was ever.
Awesome. That's where you want to be. So, but
especially when she says she's in a forest, and I'm like, yeah, I'm lost.
So it's just that hypothetical, like, we see things clearer because we're from the outside looking in, while instead of you looking from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
You get that? Like,
yeah,
because it's you. It's hard. Like, you're trying to figure things out, but we're just outside trying to figure out too, but we're looking from here to you, and you looking from into the outside. It's definitely a harder thing for you to look at it the way we look at it, like what I'm trying to say.
And that also doesn't mean we're right.
Yeah, it doesn't mean yeah.
No, like, I really feel lost. It's okay.
So
that's a good thing.
With that.
That's a good thing, because like you always like on the ball to like, I know this, I can figure this, I got this.
Yeah.
Remember that quote I took down?
Last 2 weeks, I feel lost.
Remember that quote I took down where it's like, it's all about like finding the right answer? I forget what the exact quote was. But anyway, what I will leave you with here in this topic is that, one, you are enough now. Number two is that there's nowhere to get to. And number three, if you want new results, take new actions. Like, new actions, not like the same ones that you know. These actions you don't know yet because you haven't tried them. Okay? So, and the other thing is like that, consider that your interpretation is just your interpretation, and it might not be what we mean. And that when we say figure it out, your version of figuring it out has been the way that you've always gone about it. And that when we say it, we are actually maybe alluding to something else. And in all of that, there's a sort of flexibility in human language and in the way you can do anything you want. And I can understand that you've lived in a world where things are kind of 1 and 0. It's very like, it's either is or isn't, kind of. I don't know accounting very well, but I'm just assuming that's how things go in that world. You either get audited or you don't. Am I right?
You got to get it down to 0. Match that money. 0
yeah,
or
exactly.
nothing. It's 0 or nothing.
You got to balance it, and the numbers don't lie. That is the world of an accountant.
Yeah.
So, is that why you're like always so studying to like numbers will tell you what to do? Because it's an accountant thing.
Yeah, like the numbers tell you what to do, right? Like they're trending in the wrong direction. It's time to make a change.
Mm-hmm. So when
this they is why don't change, at least you're still balanced. That totally works.
Oh my gosh. No. But that's why funny. Like it's a big deal that you did like you went away from tracking on MyFitnessPal and went into like the intuitive eating part.
Yeah.
Because it kind of is a new action, and then you get that, like, even if you stayed the same weight in that context, you now have more power because now you know yourself as someone who can who do it, who doesn't need to track in order to stay at a weight that is manageable, right? Like, you trust yourself. There's way new results that come out of just that. So consider that with body, that's the next thing for you. Like, you've got the experience of loneliness, you've got the experience of overwhelm, you've got a schedule that's packed where you're doing less activity in your class for yourself, but also within your whole day. And so now you get to choose. You get to choose what you want to do. And again, just to ring it in your ears: new actions, new results. And also with you being committed to finding your deeper why, and also not needing, like, I want to be irrelevant. Jeanette wants to be irrelevant.
Yeah.
Wherein with you being able to manage and handle your own self, then you have the ability to do anything, anywhere, at any time, and you can pivot. You can, like, freaking do backflips and you're fine, right? You get pushed down and you're fine. You know, someone scrapes your leg, you're fine. It doesn't matter. So a lot of it's going to be perception. A lot of it's going to be your ability to try something new and find it out, or figure it out, but not in the way that you
would do it the same way. Like, try figure new ways to approach it rather than the same way you have always been approaching it, if that makes sense.
And if you actually ponder that question, you might see the access to how to engage me and Jeanette and any other of the professionals. Because if you treat it like curious, like, I'm curious about this, rather than trying to find the singular answer, but instead being curious about 13 different answers that it could be. I'm just taking a guess that this might lead the conversation to where it might be helpful. Are you still lost in the forest? Or is there a shining light through now?
No, I'm letting it sink in.
Cool.
Because I feel like, yes, you need to do new things, try new things. And I feel like, though, like, since the shutdown, like, everything has been new because everything's different. So it was trying to find a new routine in this different world, right?
And have you done that?
I did, and then it changed again. So it's now trying something new again, which is where I'm getting lost right now and trying to figure that all out again.
And I'm just going to stop talking, actually. I think I'm going to leave that one there.
We'll wait until the mind comes. Probably that will come out more there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like my mind conversation that prepped me for this week, like, it has me second guessing, like, what my focus should be, but we'll see. I hope that still leads to where I need it to go, but we'll see.
Well, I have a, you know, both of you will see during the community week. I actually think that week 7 is going to be the week, to be honest.
What's week 7 for her? So this is 5. So week 6 will be the mind, and week 7 is
community.
7 and 8, right? Is community.
Yeah. It's kind of like a compilation. It's where essentially it's going to be you and me, and you're going to be able to chat with, like, well, I mean, you've always had the ability to chat with the other professionals, but we're going to be I'm not going to go there, actually. I'm going to wait until the end of the
program
of the week. Yeah. The end of the week, because as soon as the mind week is over, that is when we will start. It's kind of like brings it all together.
Yeah, I'd imagine. that makes the most sense. My to-do list said visualize and be a badass.
Yes. So did you see the message that I sent at 8:30? Oh, that would definitely yes.
Yeah. The last message I have from you is at 9:04 p.m.
Oh, did it not send?
Oops.
But I do have a daily reminder from Wonder Woman to be strong. So that was my homework she gave me, was to find something to visualize badass. But yeah.
No, there's I realize the recording's still happening. I will figure it out after we hang up this call, but I mean, it's possible that like in my tired Cameron way, I just didn't press send in the morning at 6 o'clock. I set it to be sent to you at 8:30 this morning.
Oh, you can
schedule your messages to me?
Sorry?
It's okay if you send me a message at 6.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't know. I just thought that it was a little early.
No, I have my phone on silent at night, so I don't hear late night messages. And my alarm still goes off even when it's on silent. So then I just see it when I wake up.
Okay. That's good to know.
At ungodly hours.
Okay, I'll check it out, because there was a PDF that she sent, and there was a article about visualization, and it was about basically it was like a blurb of what badass meant to you. And it basically, I came up with basically to attach visualizing your day being a badass in the morning, and I just like requested you to like take a look to see if you could attach it to an already existing habit.
Oh yeah, no, I had several badass moments at work today.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
sweet. Now we get to look at what that looks like for your schedule.
True.
A badass schedule for next week.
Whew. Badass schedule. That sounds pretty cool.
Right?
Heck yeah. So now, what are we gonna finish off with, guys? Any last thoughts?
Like you said, the 3 things that she should always remember. I think the takeaway from this one. I think she should stick to that for now, because like too much would be too many. So I think that actually sums it up for her. I think, and I'm not sure what Christine thinks. What do you think, Christine?
Sorry, remind me, what are the 3 things? There was 3 things?
Yeah.
Do you mean the 3 things that I had mentioned that yeah, like you
lost in the forest.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
lost in the forest.
Today's just really good. It's like a okay.
Like you're enough, you have all of what you need already, like your answers.
Yeah.
And I forget the third one. I'm tired. That's my excuse.
No, that's not your excuse. The third one is to be curious and ask questions.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. I really think that and the other one is getting connected to your deeper why, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, that's not a place to get to. Like that is something that from you realizing that there is a deeper why, that is actually closer to getting to your deeper why. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I there's many times I try to figure out what the deeper why is, because it's beyond my nieces. It's beyond
for sure.
family. It's beyond any of that.
Right.
And I feel like going through life to just go through life is not enough.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, I would agree. Totally. I would very much agree.
Yeah.
as soon as I was connected to my deeper why, I was able to like, I have generalized anxiety disorder, and I can talk in front of people like I don't care anymore because I'm connected to my deeper why. And it really like is something that will, I mean, it will completely light you up every day.
Mm-hmm. But
And
that was,
for you to realize it is awesome.
yeah, but for you, that wasn't something discovered within a
No,
week or days. Like it's like a
no.
lifelong figuring out, right?
Yeah, but figuring out, I would say like a lifelong of connecting to it. It's like a multiple layers. Like your nieces and your family is one layer, but then there's a deeper layer. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me, and it's sometimes hard for me not to add in and add my personal touch because I want you to tell me your experience as it is. But what I'll tell you right now, just to relate, is that I totally relate to all of what you've said about that feeling of loneliness, overwhelm, and all of that stuff, and feeling the need to figure it out. For me, I have felt that, and it's when I was able to put that aside. And like, how do you do that? You just have to continue to be committed that life isn't just about existing and then dying.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was ringing a bell in my head last night as I was driving home. Like legit, it was.
Mm. All right, so let's leave it there.
Okay.
And anything else, Jeanette?
No, we're good. Yeah, I think that's good. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, if there's like something, all I'd say just if there's something that you think like, oh my God, I really can't do this, like reach out. Like I think that would have been a good thing because I know Christine, you wanted to always be done. Like I'll do it. I know I can do it, but it's okay to reach out like, hey, I'm not gonna do this. Can you please change it? Or I'm not gonna do this. Why'd you give it to me? Like reach out. Don't take everything that you on your own. Like you have people around you that will help you, reason why you are actually in this transformation with different professionals. You are amazing. So if you ask and reach out, they're not going to take it, it's not going to be against you. Like you always would say, like it's like I'm letting people down. Just because you ask a question doesn't mean you're letting them down. You're actually standing up for yourself to say like, hey, I'm not really going to do this, already I didn't do it. So if you do have questions, reach out, say you'll be, and that's another approach that I think would be something new for you, because I know you've always been figuring things out on your own. So if like there's the word again, figuring out, but what I'm trying to say is like, yes, you will want to do it on your own, but I think if you want to reach someone, that's another approach that you would that you would probably be helpful, instead of just, yeah, I'll do it and I can do it, I'll tick it off and I'll say it's done, rather than we did it together.
And also don't decide for people that, they aren't available.
Oh yeah, no. I know.
You never know.
Yeah, no.
And
I
and
never doubted they're not there for me. It was just knowing what to ask.
Knowing and figuring out, hey?
Figuring it all out.
Right. So you have to figure it out first before you come to someone.
No, it was just like not, it was just not knowing what to ask.
Right.
In that moment, like when, like there are times where I get stuck, and when I get stuck, I ask, because
yes,
or else I'll never move forward.
Of course.
And like that, it's something that happens at work all the time. But when it comes to life, I guess it's a different story.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Well, good job for the week, and we will continue our journey into the mind. And I think that a big deal.
Definitely a big deal.
A big deal is that schedule.
That badass schedule.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm low-key scared for this week.
Yeah. Well, you get to make it your own. And I think that a big thing that I mean, this I would say this video more than others probably would be one I would recommend watching back. Maybe not now, but maybe at the end of this week. Yeah. So let's leave it there.
Okay.
I feel bad almost leaving you in this sort of like limbo.
It's like,
yeah.
It's like you're almost there. Why don't you just give it to me? No.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I don't even feel that though. I don't even feel like I'm even close.
Oh, well, I mean, it's all relative, I guess. I would disagree, but that's just me. No, seriously, like I actually think that you're very close. You're asking all the right questions. It's like you are connected to the, I don't need to justify. You get it. Honestly, just keep it up with the inquiry. And the thing I would say is, and this isn't mandatory, but call Jeanette. Like, call people you care about. Just talk about it, and just like vocalize it. Get it out of your head, and I think you'll get there faster. Mm-hmm. We spend a lot of time alone, or in our head. Get out of there.
No, it hurts.
Mm-hmm. I can tell. So, on that note, let's leave it there. Okay?
Works for
all right.
me.
So, good night to both of you.
Good night.
It's a pleasure again, Jeanette.
Yes, no problem. It's a pleasure. I actually, every time I do love doing this, because every time we do something, we grow. And when we grow, we learn. And when we learn, it's another part of not just existing, we're living, we're sharing, we're talking to people, we're bringing out whatever we have inside, and that growth gives you more motivation to keep on talking and helping people out.
Yeah, and it feels good to be there with people, not for people always, but with people, right? Yeah. Like it's a journey together. It doesn't need to be like, doesn't need to be lonely.
No, and it doesn't have to be like, better than I do, or someone's better than anyone. No, every opinion matters. It molds us to be who we are, and it molds us to the direction that we want to go to.
Yeah, it's like trusting yourself, and I can really see that, Christine, you are trusting yourself. Kind of. Sometimes maybe not so much, but you really are like having that trust actually come through. I can tell. But just like, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just so excited. Honestly.
Right.
Just stay in the forest. Just
just stay lost for now. Yeah. Ask the question. You find the crumbs, like Hansel and Gretel. Find the crumbs, and then it'll lead you to the forest.
That's right.
And then next week on our recap, seeing the sleep stats. Oh, Christine, you didn't sleep that night. What happened? I had my body recap, and
write a note on it. Put a sticky to him, like we stayed up with Cameron till like.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna figure out your little message, by the way. I don't know what that's all about. But yeah.
Should and figure are turning out to be very bad words now.
Yes, they are.
And I'll leave it at that. All right.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap.
That is a wrap.
See, this is a better note to end on. It's more happy versus like stressed and confused.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't want to leave it. That's why I didn't want to leave it at that. It kind of felt a little.
It's gonna keep Cameron up all night now.
Truly.
No,
yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh god, that is hilarious. Anyways.
Okay.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, Cameron.
Thanks, Jeanette.
Good night, guys. No problem. Bye.